Hello everyone, welcome to Chronicle IAS. My name is Shivani Tripathi and today we are starting our new series, New NCERT GS Beginners Foundation Course 2026. This series aims to deliver a strong foundation for different competitive exams such as UPSC Civil Services exams, State Civil Services exams, and different other exams such as SSC and other one-day exams, which includes general studies as a part of its syllabus. We all know importance of general studies, and when it comes to building a strong foundation, there's no other source as authentic as NCERTs, where we will see that how this new NCERT GS Beginners Foundation Course 2026 is useful for the beginners of different exams. So what we are trying to focus here are the beginners. So before moving and understanding how this course helps you to solve the problems and challenges of the beginners of different exams, it is very important to know that who is a beginner. So a beginner has nothing to do with the educational qualifications. A person who has done PhD can also be a beginner, and a person who has minimum eligibility qualifications such as graduation is also a beginner. The only thing what matters is at what time that person starts preparing for different exams. So when an aspirant starts preparing for an exam, then he or she can come under the category of a beginner. Now, how these competitive exams are designed in a way that it treats all the beginners equally. Let me tell you one of the very important aspect of these competitive exams, and that is universal nature. Universal nature of these exams. Now, what does this mean? The basic eligibility qualification of these exams is that it expects you to have graduation. Let's suppose we are talking here about UPSC Civil Services exams, state exams, SSC exams, CDS exams. So these exams ask you to have a minimum eligibility criteria, and that is graduation. So these exams and the questions asked in these exams have the knowledge level which a graduate student must have. So it doesn't forms questions when you will thoroughly look over the PYQs and the exam syllabus. It doesn't focuses on a very specialized centric approach. It is very generalized paper. Okay, these papers are very generalized, keeping general awareness in their mind. Okay, so when we say general awareness, this is actually general awareness. When you will analyze different questions, sometimes very basic questions which you might have somewhere somehow discussed with your friends come in the exam. So this doesn't want you to test your specialty in a particular field. So a person who has done PhD, for example, in history, thinks that he will solve all the questions of history. Well, that is not possible because any exam focuses on history, it focuses on the very general aspects. It doesn't focuses on the aspects which requires research, which requires very strong and advanced level of technical analysis. No, it focuses on a very basic, very general part of the syllabus, general part of that particular subject. So that's why general awareness is general awareness, or it is often also said general studies. So this general word is very important. And this general word, the focus of the different syllabus of different exams, when focuses on this general studies part, this makes this particular exams universal because it wants to test you on your general information. And it is often said that common sense is not common. So, equally, it can be said here that general information is not that general what we think. So, it also requires deep analysis, but definitely it doesn't require specialized analysis. Okay, so what we have understand that a beginner, be it any competitive exam, is equal in front of the examiner. Why? Because these exams are universal in nature. So what is the advantage of this fact? The advantage of this fact is that it provides every aspirant a level playing field. Why is that important? Because you are going to give a competitive exam in India, which is one of the most populated, or right now it is one of the most populated country in world. And giving any kind of competitive exams in a place where there are lot of students applying for the same exam, it is very important that these exams should be universal and should provide a level playing field to all the aspirants. So, moving forward, let's understand what the problems faced by beginners. So, let's suppose there's a time in my life when I decided to prepare for any exam. So, what will be the problems which will come in my mind? Because let's suppose I do not have anyone in my vicinity to talk to. There are certain students they have different kind of friends, different kind of supporters who are available to them and who give them the basic information of the exam. But let's suppose there is a student, for example me, when I will decide that I am going to prepare for this exam, what are the first things which will come in my mind, right? Or which will create a kind of confusion in my mind? Yes, this is the most important part, large syllabus. These all exams are designed in a way that it includes certain 5 to 6 subjects in a very generic way. So it is often said that everything under the sun comes in general studies, and sometimes it also goes beyond the sun. Okay, so large syllabus is the first and foremost problem when it comes to the preparation of different exams faced by a beginner. When that particular person reads that syllabus, that okay, fine, it includes polity, it includes geography, it includes history, and it includes economy, science. So these are certain 5 to 6 subjects, including other subjects which are part of the general studies syllabus. So when that particular student sees these particular papers, he gets very confused. I mean, what doesn't come under Indian polity? Everything which is related to the law and governance comes under Indian polity. So how to know that what to study? What to study? This is the second problem which is faced by the beginners. Because once they will decode the syllabus, they will come to know that okay, these are the 5, 6 subjects which are very important. And then they will move to the fact that okay, I know that I have to study Indian polity, but what? And how to study? You can't just take a book one day and just read it. Even if you try to do that, you will be able to solve one or two questions, but that will be also very challenging. So there was a time when I started reading Spectrum, and because of the lack of guidance or because of lack of very right approach, I started making notes for Indian polity from Lakshmikant. I found that there was a day when I had Lakshmikant book as well as Lakshmikant copy, because the complete copy was filled with all the trivial elements from the book, because I wasn't doing with a right guidance. I was not aware what to study and how to study. Thus, I end up writing everything from that book in my copy. So it required very lot of hard work, but it was not the smart approach. And because of that, knowing how to study is very important. Okay, and which takes you to the importance of right guidance, because this problem can be solved only with the right guidance. What to study, how to study can only be solved when you have that right guidance. So that unlike me, you end up making a notes of Lakshmikant and you will have a Lakshmikant copy with you, because that will not be a smart approach to study. You shouldn't have Lakshmikant copy with you. You should have a summarized form of notes, a clear understanding of Indian polity, which will help you to solve MCQs instead of making very beautiful notes. Okay. So now, when a person starts preparing for any exam, he faces certain problems which we have seen. Well, once he starts preparing for that exam, and there are certain times which he invests in learning about the syllabus, in learning about PYQs, in learning about what to do and how to do, there are certain challenges which he or she faces. So, after discussing the problems, we will discuss about the challenges faced by a beginner. So the first and foremost challenge is tough competition. Okay. So what makes the competition in India very tough? India is a country with a very diverse educational backgrounds and with unequal educational foundation. So when a beginner starts preparing for any competitive exams, sometimes he lives in a village, sometimes he studies from a district level of college, and some aspirants get the privilege of studying in metro cities in central universities such as CU and JNU. So this leads to unequal educational foundation, and this often creates a kind of very inequality, so that the particular qualification which is faced by one student and the particular qualification which the other student have, that can be equal, but the sources, their colleges and their standards are very different, which makes the knowledge base and the personality of that particular two individual completely different. So this is a very important thing, unequal educational foundation. Now there is also socioeconomic inequality. So a person who is sometimes preparing for exams just for 4 hours in a day and gives the other time sometimes as a helper to their family for having a family income, sometimes with a part-time job like giving certain part of the day to job like 8 to 9 hours, and then coming to home and then studying for a particular exam, because that person can't afford sitting ideally in a home, and uh, there is no one to support that person. So that creates again a very inequality type of situation, because a person who is giving 24 hours to exam and a person who is giving 8 hours to exam, focus with complete hard work, but there will be difference because time is in essence, and sometimes you have a very large amount of time, sometimes you have very less amount of time. And why is that? Because there is certain socioeconomic inequality in our society, and that doesn't sometimes provide you a very level playing field. The third one is language and exposure gap. So we know that there are certain materials which are completely available in English, and the quality of the resources often is good for English medium students and not that good for Hindi medium students. So there are different exams in which Hindi medium students get good quality of sources and English medium students suffer from that. And that's why our course focuses on the students of both the class, because it wants to tackle these kind of challenges which are very basic in nature, but creates a hindrance when it comes to your smooth preparation for a smooth journey. And then there is confidence and psychological pressure, because when you come from a village, you will have a certain kind of psychological disturbance in your mind, that maybe you will get a feeling that okay, the person who is studying in a metro city is better than me. That is not the case. That is often not the case, because it doesn't matter where you study. What matters is your strategy, your strong foundation. So it is equally important that you, along with your certain privileges which you have not been able to form because of your social conditioning, it is very important that you focus on the things which you have. Okay. So that's why these things make the competition really tough. Then what would be the solution? As we have seen, that right guidance is the solution. With right strategy and right approach, knowing what to study and how to study, the challenges of socioeconomic inequality and unequal educational foundation, that can be easily solved. Basic sources. When you stick to basic sources such as NCERTs, You can reduce the problem of affordability. There are certain standard books which may cost around 500 or 1000 rupees, but NCRTs are completely available freely in their website. So you can download that NCRTs, you can read and form a strong foundation. So focusing on the basic sources is very important. Consistent study, because as Mahatma Gandhi has said, consistent consistency is the foundation of virtue. So when you are consistent in your approach, daily study of 2 hours is much better when you study for 8 hours in a day and then leave the other 5 days and you don't study even for a single hour. So it is very important to be consistent in an approach. Okay? And conceptual clarity, as we have seen, is very important, which can come through basic sources such as NCRTs. So how you can solve the problem of tough competition? With a smart strategy by using PYQs, solving model MCQs, and sticking to basic sources. The other uh, challenge which a student faces when it comes to preparation of different exams is multiplication of sources. We know that there's information overload arise going everywhere. Whenever you open any social media site, there's a lot of things because of the algorithm of artificial intelligence. There are a lot of informations which are traveling in that particular site, and you get access to too many books, PDFs, YouTube lectures, and coaching material. So it is very important to filter out the particular source. Why why you should know that which source is important and which is not is because you can filter out from this information overload what information you want and what information you should completely avoid. No clear roadmap, because when there's multiplication of resources, you are not able to form a fixed load on which you have to travel. You keep on changing your path, and this leads to diversion and distraction. Difficulty in concept building. You study one concept from one book and then same concept from other book. It never builds a kind of consistency and it never leads to confidence and it never leads you to understand that particular topic. So it is very important that you stick to one source because it is often said that reading one book is very important than reading 10 books. Okay. And this also leads to impact on and retention. Because when you read multiple sources, you will not be able to revise them, and that will create again a very important hindrance. What would be the solution here? Make NCERT the core foundation. For example, instead of reading 3-4 geography books, cover NCERT geography properly and link it with map and PYQs. So why do you study different 3 to 4 standard books of geography when you can find everything which comes in different exams in class 6 to 12 NCERT? Stick to that resource, read it, try to understand it, reread it, rehearse it, practice MCQs, practice PYQs, and then you will be able to build a very strong foundation. You can follow a layered strategy approach as well. You can form your basic of conceptual clarity with NCRTs, and then you can go to sources such as Lakshmikant, Spectrum, and then you can read current affairs and PYQs because you will not be able to understand current affairs unless you have the basics very strong. So one source, multiple revision. Read one book 10 times, not 10 books one time. This is very important. Now, what is the other challenge? Understanding of PYQs. When it comes to knowing the battlefield of different competitive exams, knowing PYQs is very important because it helps you to filter the content. In our previous challenge, we have seen that it's very important to know what to study and what not to study. This filtration is what and what not. And that can be done only on the basis of PYQs. Okay. So lack of understanding of exam pattern, no idea of topic weightage. When you will not have the understanding of exam pattern, you will not have the understanding of the fact that what is the weightage of a particular topic in that exam. It will leave you disconnected to your preparation, and then you will end up repeating the same mistakes, which is often stated by different toppers when they say that what are the common mistakes when they do. So here we have taken different level of MCQs in order to show you that how our course is focusing on building a very strong foundation, and why it is important to know the basic and as well as advanced of any topic. So what we have done is I have taken polity as a subject, and I have tried to understand three levels of question. The first one is a UPSC level question. When you will read this question, you will understand that it focuses on the conceptual understanding, interlinking, and analytical thinking. When you will read this question, belongs to the state PCS exam, it is factual and state specific knowledge. And then the third part is SSC level, which is mainly fact based and memory oriented. So this is a question which has come in civil services exam, most probably in 2020 or 2021, where it focuses on which of the following is or are the exclusive powers of Lok Sabha. So knowing about the exclusive powers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is only able to, you can only able to solve this question when you will have the analytical understanding of the different dimensions of parliament. So here it is to ratify the declaration of emergency, to pass a motion of no confidence against the Council of Ministers, to impeach the President of India. And the right answer is 2, because Lok Sabha can only pass a motion of no confidence against the Council of Ministers exclusively. The other two things also requires the permission of or the involvement of Rajya Sabha. Now, what is this question? Which article of Indian Constitution deals with the protection of life and personal liberty? We know that states often focus on article-based questions, questions which are state-specific. So this is Article 21. And the other question is, who is known as father of the Indian Constitution? This is an SSC level question, completely memory oriented, and the answer is B.R. Ambedkar. So this is just to show you what is the importance of PYQs and what is the focus of PYQs in different exams. So the focus of SSC is this. The focus of different state civil services exams is more analytical type of, and the focus of UPSC civil services exam is analysis, not just facts. Okay. So CSC focuses on analysis, not just fact. When you will understand this nature, then you will be able to solve your problem. So start with 5 to 10 years of PYQs. Know about 4 areas and repeated patterns. Integrate that PYQs with NCERT. Okay. For example, if a PYQ asks about the features of Harappa of town planning, then you can say that how that particular topic is given in class 12 NCERT. Okay. So you have to integrate your preparation and your syllabus with NCERTs so that you can know the pattern through PYQs and focus on the things which are really important. Make PYQ based notes. Again, I have already told that it's very important to understand PYQ, and then practice, analyze, and use PYQs as filter, which we have already seen that it's important to know what to study and what not. The other important challenge is time management. So time is a very important asset which you have, and the best way to use time is to save it. And that's why time management is very important because it helps you to plan your study routine and saves you from an unplanned study routine. So planning gives you efficiency and it leads to time management. So start your planning in a way that you are able to save your time in a very efficient manner. Digital distraction. It is very important these days that you have control on yourself so that you cannot get easily distracted by different digital media tools. Because once you start scrolling Instagram reels and YouTube shorts, seeing this lecture, this videos, this course, that particular PDF, this particular mock test, then you end up giving your preparation a very chaotic route, and this leads to distraction. And then you end up neglecting revision and practice. Because when you have a lot of things to revise, you will end up revising almost nothing. But when you have one particular, you will hand out notes to revise, you will revise it efficiently. So instead of looking for here and there, you have to have a very sharp focus, and that only can come with a good plan, and which will lead you to manage your time very efficiently. So prioritizing subjects, topics based on PYQ analysis. Okay, we have seen that how you can prioritize any topic and subject based on the trends of PYQ. So what is the solution here? Create a realistic study schedule. So for efficient time management, it is very important to be realistic. You know what you can study in 2 hours. Give that 2 hours to study that topic only. Don't be too ambitious in your early days, because it will help. It will not help you. Rather, it will create a very clear level of anxiety in you, and you will end up doing nothing and end up wasting your time. So it is very important to create a realistic time schedule, weekly, daily, and if possible, monthly. Okay, you can use certain time tracking techniques such as Pomodoro. It is very good technique where you study for a stretch of 25 minutes, and then you give yourself 5 minute break, and then you study for 25 minutes, and then you give 5 minute break. This helps you to retain your focus and helps you to focus for a very long study hour. And then there will be incorporation of that. It is very important that you reduce your online distractions, because it helps you to save your time. Okay, when you will reduce online distractions, it will help you to reduce your time waste. And this is very common. There's nothing rocket science in this. Okay, then let's move to the other important challenge, which is lack of clear strategy. Now we have seen that there are 4 to 5 challenges, and one of the very important thing which often aspirant misses is to have a clear strategy, a clear roadmap, what to do, what not to do, how to study, how not to study. So this is very important. And lack of clear strategy gives you a very directionless preparation. You do not know which direction to follow, which direction to go, and your preparation becomes directionless. When you completely try to follow others' strategy blindly, you end up doing nothing, because you can take certain aspects, you can learn certain aspects from the toppers, but it is very important that you learn something from them, and then you know your own strengths and weaknesses, and incorporate all that in your own strategy to build a very strong foundation. And because you have a lack of clear strategy, it leads to know the imbalance between the subjects. You end up focusing on a topic which might be very emotional to you, but it has slightly less relevance when it comes to your exam. Okay, so when you have a clear strategy, you end up avoiding your time wastage. And what would be the solution? Again, syllabus and PYQ. We have seen this multiple times, that how focus sticking to syllabus, PYQs, and basic sources helps you to manage your time. You can follow a phased approach where you can focus on NCERTs for conceptual clarity, focus on standard books such as Lakshmi Khan for more analytical understanding, and then you can focus on revision mock test, and answer writing. So you have to prepare your personalized plan. Now, how this new NCERT GS Beginners Foundation Course 2026 is helpful to solve all these challenges we have discussed so far. So this provides you one-stop structured plan. We have seen in key features that how this particular course focuses on class 6 to 12 NCERTs, covering each subject topic-wise based on its weightage by seeing the pattern of PYQ analysis. And this is covered in a very logical manner. Okay? Because we have taken one topic, we will cover that topic in our classes. We will give you PYQs related to that topic, and then we will give model MCQs so that you can practice about that topic. And we will also give you theme-based mains question. So this will help you to give the direction to your preparation, which was going directionless when you were not aware of the importance of basics. Time efficient classes will be there, and you will be given the things which is actually required, and all the over information which is not required for your preparation, you will not be overburdened with that. Focused study material, integrated approach, we have seen in key features, and test and revision support.